Welcome to the newest episode of Beatin' and Bangin'. I'm your host, Kyle Dalton. We have got a lot to cover in today's video, recapping the weekend at Martinsville, including a Truck Series race that had the 2024 Rookie of the Year, offering some critical thoughts on the paperclip, which at the time, we had no idea how right he was. Plus, we will discuss the madness that was the Xfinity Series race and that finish on Saturday night. And of course, we'll discuss Sunday's race, which as expected, resulted in short tempers on the short half-mile track. Plus, I have some big news from this morning and what it means to the future of the sport. Before we talk about that, I want to go back to Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday of last week. I was on a call with reporters and Ryan Preece. NASCAR fans are learning this season how good of a race car driver he is. Last week, we also learned he's got a little bit of Nostradamus in him. Take a listen to what he had to say.
But I'm curious, can we get fully to where I think we all want to be in a place like Xfinity is, right? When you watch a race at Martinsville in the Xfinity series, that's where we want Cup to be. Can we get there purely through the tire, you think?
I don't even think the Xfinity series racing, at Martinsville is that great. I just see guys knocking each other out of the way. That's it. I don't think that's racing. I can go to a local go-kart track and knock a guy out of the way and do the same damn thing.
Which takes us to 2 days later in Friday night's Truck Series race. 2024 Rookie of the Year Lane Riggs was involved in an early incident and after the race had some thoughts.
I said it earlier, I'm a short track guy and I love short track racing, but I hate this racetrack in a national series level. It's really sad when the late model race here is the cleanest one there is. It's just so crazy. It's a truck series. You're doing everything right. You're running your right line, you're running the bottom, protecting the bottom like you should be. And then the guy that's 5 back hits him, he hits him, he hits him, he hits him, and then you get hit, and then you get spun around. It's like, who do you even get mad at that point?
We'll have much more on this in a few. Early on Saturday during practice and qualifying, there were a couple of things I noticed that revealed that those in the broadcast booth were clearly not on the same page as those on the Fox production team. I give to you example number 1.
You can see where that rubber's starting to build up there and there. I've always said, Kevin, if you're going to be good here, let's see if they can hold still here, Artie. If you're going to be good here, the money's made, right? There.
While the director just completely ignored what Boyer had to say, I think what Boyer had to say was important. Did you hear him mention Artie? That's Artie Kempner, the director. The same guy who was recently announced to be moving over to ESPN and direct the Monday Night Football coverage starting this next season. Boyer mentioning him by name meant that he was obviously still there. I wasn't sure if he had already left and if the Fox production would improve. I could have guessed it hadn't improved just by its continued poor camera angles, but Boyer confirmed it. And Kempner wasn't done. This time, Mike Joy was victimized, and the 75-year-old veteran broadcaster didn't hesitate to call out the botched production. Check this out.
Kyle Larson, a little bit different approach here.
That is not Kyle Larson. That is,
I'm sorry. We went the other way.
Josh Berry.
Josh Berry. This is what happens when the voice in your ear says, going to last week's winner. And we go to the winner a couple of weeks ago. It's okay.
Quite honestly, now that they know Kempner is leaving, I hope they call him out more. It can make for some really interesting conversations on the air in the future. During the practice and qualifying session, I was tracking Ty Gibbs. The number 54 driver was top 5 in his Group 1 practice session. Then he qualified 13th for a third time this year, which was the worst of the 4 JGR cars. And now let's go to Saturday night and that Xfinity Series race. We'll start with this number, 14, as in 14 cautions. Yeah, it was a bit much, but a precursor of what was to come on that final lap when Sammy Smith, who would later say got his feelings hurt when Taylor Gray flipped him the bird during the red flag, decided to channel his inner Ty Gibbs from 2022 and ironically enough send the number 54 car up the track. A massive multi-car crash ensued and was followed by a massive controversy. Gray confronted Smith at the Infield Care Center and everyone had thoughts on the despicable display. I'm sure you've seen plenty of the comments criticizing Smith, but I wanted to focus on several remarks on the topic as a whole. First are the comments of Joe Gibbs Racing competition director Chris Gabehart, who said this on X, "Penalty flag, it's the black one, use it, be an official and officiate." What's interesting is I remember this exact conversation a couple of years ago about aggressive driving, and Gabehart said the same thing. I even asked a couple drivers, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch at COTA, and they agreed that penalizing the driver immediately is the answer. And here we are today. If NASCAR isn't going to intervene and fix it, then there's the drivers self-policing. And that leads me to the wisdom of Clint Boyer. Yes, I just said that, but I couldn't have agreed more yesterday with what he said during the broadcast. Take a listen.
But just to say respect is going to fix it, well, then they need to get out of the way with those security guys and let those guys learn about respect.
100% agree. Notice the whole irony here. NASCAR is choosing to intervene with security guys, as Boyer mentioned, and preventing drivers from self-policing, as we saw at the Infield Care Center. But then they won't intervene themselves and put out the black flag. It's absolutely maddening that there are two clear solutions here, and NASCAR is opting to avoid doing either one. And the last comment I'll have on this matter is straight from the mouth of Smith himself. He admitted to doing it on purpose because of the bird flip, because he didn't want to finish second, and everyone else would have done the same thing. So my guess is he would have likely gotten away with the move like Gibbs did doing the exact same thing in 2022, because NASCAR said back then that it was just racing. But because the number 8 driver admitted to doing it, similar to Denny Hamlin and Phoenix with Ross Chastain a couple of years ago, I'd expect some sort of penalty. But again, this is NASCAR we're talking about, so who the hell knows what's going to happen? All right, enough about that nonsense. Let's talk about Sunday's Cup race. Pole sitter Christopher Bell led the first 23 laps, but then Chase Elliott, who started on the outside of row 1, showed that the number 9 car was fast, taking the lead and staying there until the first caution. Interestingly, despite a fast race car, not everything was going great for the Hendrick Motorsports driver.
I just said whoever has a stuck mic, I would really appreciate if you fixed it at some point in the near future. Yeah, we don't hear that, so we got some crazy stuff going on.
Due to differing pit calls, the field got shuffled. Joey Logano won his second stage of the season and was followed by Alex Bowman, AJ Allmendinger, Brad Keselowski, and John Hunter Nemechek. Chase Elliott returned to the point to start the second stage and led for more than 30 laps. During that time, there was a surprise inside the top 5, Ty Gibbs. However, the 22-year-old wasn't only having to deal with his competition, but his cool suit wasn't working. During that stage, there was a single caution, and when it happened, teams once again chose differing strategies. The Toyotas of Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, and Gibbs all opted to stay out. Alex Bowman wished he had done the same. The number 48 car, which started third, had a loose wheel, which effectively ended any chances of a good day. Hamlin led the rest of that stage and was followed by Elliott, Wallace, Gibbs, and Chase Briscoe. As you can see, a very Toyota-heavy top 5 and a precursor of things to come. During the stage break, Gibbs, who along with Austin Cindric and Eric Jones were having cool suit issues, tried to address his situation.
Are you committed to draining the suit? We're a little nervous about doing it. Why? We're not sure you're going to be able to do it with one hand. That's the problem. Don't I just plug it in? Yeah, hand it to me. I'll do it. Yeah, we got you.
Early in that third stage, there was our first of 5 cautions in the stage, and it received limited coverage on the broadcast, but I thought it was worth mentioning because it involved Austin Cindric. Yes, the same Austin Cindric who was penalized earlier in the month at COTA for losing his cool and intentionally wrecking Ty Dillon. Take a look at what happened here with Riley Herbst. I know it's a tough call, but it sure does appear that the Team Penske pilot initiated contact. But it's Martinsville, right? After no loose wheel issues last week at Homestead, we had another with Shane Van Gisbergen, which brought out another caution. A short time later, another caution, this time for Gibbs getting spun by Tyler Reddick, who later would say Austin Dillon got into him. But Gibbs didn't care who started it and had some choice words for his Toyota teammate.
Just free this fucking thing up, please. Doesn't roll the center at all. Copy, buddy. It's going to be okay. Keep me away from that little fucker after this race, too.
With cautions breeding cautions, tempers continued to flare, and on the next restart, Joey Logano took issue with Ross Chastain.
You're good. 3/4 behind. Quarter in front. Half in front. 19's with you. Tight, tight, tight. 1 in front. Gaps 1 out back to the 71. 19. Goodbye 2. Wreck it behind. Wreck it. Caution. Caution, caution. How's the nose? Guy's a jackass.
After a couple more cautions, which totaled 10 for the day, and the most at Martinsville since 2021 at 15 before the Gen 7 car, I was fully expecting to have another caution on the final laps and possibly see a repeat of Saturday night. Fortunately, we did not. Instead, Denny Hamlin got out in front and led the final 73 laps, building up an impressive 4+ second lead over Bell and claiming his first win of the season. After the race, I wanted to mention a couple of comments. First from Hamlin, when asked by Bob Pockris why he waved the 11 against the world flag during his post-race celebration.
I mean, you already have enough going on. Why add to it?
Why not is the question. Why not? I mean, it's just, that's me. I mean, go shoot hoops with me, go play pickleball with me, go play golf with me. If I can't shit talk, then it takes away my superpower. It really does. I'm not nearly as good. My friends, it drives them absolutely crazy, but to me, that part of it, it fuels me, and it just makes me feel good. That's it.
Quite the interesting superpower. And lastly, Joe Gibbs also visited with reporters in the winner's post-race press conference and was asked about grandson Ty's performance this season.
And there's no secret here. We've gone through a tough time, to start the year, and everything that's happened to us. There's not much going our way. And when that happens, I know what I'm studying through all of that, and that is who surrounds us, who's there with us, who's working their rear end off at the race shop to try and get us back. And those are the people that I just really, really appreciate. Anytime you go through a tough time for me, that is something I really want to look at. Who are the guys there? And we got some of those guys that are leading us out of this. So I appreciate it for Heather, for myself. This is really tough. And so it's a big deal for us. And so thank you for asking that question. So appreciate it. But we're gonna fight. Ty's dad, Coy, his statement was always, anytime we got in tough stuff about his kids, he goes, "I raised my kids tough." That's what he says. So hopefully we're gonna fight our way out of this.
I thought it was really interesting to hear him bring up Coy and how he raised his kids tough. Obviously, the younger Gibbs is going through a tough stretch, so it'll be interesting to see if and when he does come out of it. He did finish 13th on Sunday for his best finish of 2025. And finally, a bit of breaking news from today, and that was the announcement the NASCAR president, Steve Phelps, was being promoted to commissioner of NASCAR, and Steve O'Donnell, who had been COO, would now become president. The press release said that Phelps will oversee all aspects of America's top motorsport, including IMSA, and all 15 NASCAR owned or operated tracks. O'Donnell will be the leader of day-to-day operations of all 3 NASCAR National Series and all NASCAR commercial, media, and track operations, as well as its 4 international series and multiple local and grassroots properties. I thought the most interesting thing about the announcement was when talking about Steve Phelps and his duties. It said he will lead all functions of the sport with a specific focus on strategic growth and international expansion, and will work across the NASCAR ecosystem to provide value to all stakeholders while increasing global fan engagement. It twice mentioned the international component. I interpret that to mean that NASCAR and Phelps, in particular, is really going to start pushing to expand the sport outside of the U.S. borders. Hey, I know some of you won't like that, but to me, I believe that getting as many eyeballs on the sport is a good thing because that's growing the sport. And that's what everyone should want. All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's episode. We covered a lot, and I want to hear your thoughts. First, let me know what you think of Mike Joy and Clint Boyer both raising the production issues on air. Do you think we'll see more of that in the final 6 races on Fox? And of course, I have to ask you what you thought about the Xfinity Series race and that finish. I really have 2 questions. Will Sammy Smith get penalized? And what needs to happen to prevent this from happening more in the future? And as for Sunday's race, what did you think about all those cautions and that final long green flag run with Denny Hamlin getting his first win of 2025? And lastly, let me know what you thought of today's breaking news and Steve Phelps being promoted to commissioner. And finally, a couple orders of business. First up, I'm going to give away this autographed disc from last week's show. We had a great response to the disc golf interviews. There's obviously some crossover between lovers of disc golf and NASCAR. And the winner is Jim in his grip. That's Jim in his grip, or Alberta Jim, as he signs in his comments. And I have one additional order of business to tend to. I need your help. As you guys know, I write for Athlon Sports. I'm also the manager of the racing section. I'm looking for riders and not in NASCAR. I'm looking for experienced riders who have an interest in covering F1, IndyCar, and motocross. So if you think this is you, please send a resume to kyle@beatingandbanging.com. This is a great company and a great opportunity to cover motorsports and make some money. Thanks again for checking out the latest video and supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate it and hope you have a great rest of your day.